Hey everybody, my name is Zei from the Zei YouTube channel. So in this video, we're going to be collabing with piar squared. Okay, so the first Linux distro that we're going to review is Prism Linux. Now you guys may be asking, what the frick is Prism Linux? Oh yeah, before we start the video though, we can't forget, we're going to fetch real quick. Holy LARP. This is Prism Linux. The website is www.prismlinux.org, a modern, high-performance Arch-based distribution. Experience the future of Linux. That sounds kind of funny. Oh, if I click anywhere on the website, there's these like splashes or fireworks. Lightning fast, secure, developer ready. Why Prism Linux? So there's these features here that they have on the website. Explore all features. I thought this was gonna have like 2 active users, but 500. Okay, that's not a lot compared to all the other Linux distros, but hey, this isn't like a small amount of people. This is a pretty solid amount of people. Meet the passionate people building Prism Linux. Oh, mystery developer. Another secret contributor. Ready to experience the difference? Let's download Prism Linux. I think this is like a Arch-based distro, right? Oh yeah, AUR support. This is an Arch-based distro. The ISO size is a respectable 2.5 gigabytes. Not too big, not too small. We're ready to install? Oink. Alright, the download speed is actually pretty fast. So this is basically Arch, but beginner friendly, I'm pretty sure. CashOS and EndeavorOS have another competitor, which is Prism Linux. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for 28,000 subscribers. You guys are all insane. Like literally today we hit 28,000 subscribers and then we gained another 200. Switch to light mode. Nah, I'm a good person today, guys. I'm not gonna flashbang you guys. News and wiki. What about news? Featured articles. ISO downloads are now available from our own server. What about wiki? 2 categories for articles. Oh, this is the virtual machine installation if you want to install this on a virtual machine. Okay, I was gonna search for the install for non-virtual machines, but the website has a bit of a bug here. Okay, it's done downloading. Alright, first off, let's go ahead and CD into downloads. Wait, no, I actually have Ventoy installed. It's dev SDC, so I haven't really made a Ventoy mount. Sudo mkdir-p/mnt/ventoy. Alright, now sudo mount /dev/sdc1/mnt ventoy. Alright, now I'm gonna CD into my downloads. Sudo cp Prism Linux ISO into /mnt/ventoy. This shouldn't take too long because the ISO is only 2 gigs. So yeah, I'll see you guys when it's done. Oh shoot, this actually looks pretty good. I'm normally not a fan of rounded corners, but I don't really mind this. This looks nice. The normal Prism Linux install, NVIDIA optimize, and then safe graphics/legacy. We're just gonna do the normal Prism Linux install. That's the Prism Linux logo right there, and it's taking quite a bit to load into it. I don't know why. So the loading took quite a bit, but it's okay, I guess. Wi-Fi doesn't work, so I'm gonna use this to use Ethernet. Let's go, it worked. Like honestly, I'm kind of a big fan of how the default desktop looks. This looks pretty good. Welcome to Prism Linux. I actually thought this was gonna use the Calamaris installer, but turns out it's not using it. Wow, okay, the installer actually looks pretty good. Let's hit English here. Okay, we're gonna be selecting the Apple SSD for this. So here I'm going to be trying out like a desktop environment other than GNOME and KDE because I use GNOME and KDE quite a bit. Oh, they have Sway. I actually want to do Sway because you guys were asking me to try out Sway. Select additional packages. Ooh, web browsers. So I'm going to be installing Florp because I see a lot of comments about Florp. I've never tried it myself. Ooh, you can even install fonts. I'm going to install Maple Mono because it's like one of my favorite fonts now. They also have Office and Productivity, media players. That's a bunch of apps you can install. Wow. Alrighty, we can select Linux kernels here. They recommend Linux LQX. I've actually never tried Linux LQX, so let's try that out. This is the ZRAM, which is swap. Let's just leave it on automatic because it's already pretty good. System hostname, let's leave it on Prism Linux. Alrighty, now we wait till the installer finishes installing. This is how the bootloader looks like. I'm pretty sure this is Grub with their own custom theme. I actually really like this wallpaper on the login manager. I think it's SDDM. I'm gonna log in real quick. Hey, what's up guys? I got OBS working. As you can see, it works just fine, just like Arch Linux, CashOS, and EndeavorOS. So I thought there was going to be a wallpaper pre-installed, but turns out there's no wallpaper pre-installed. I'm going to be installing a program that will display wallpapers, which is SwayBG, sudo pacman-s SwayBG. Alrighty, let's install SwayBG now. We have like a bar built in. I don't know if it's like a waybar or quick shell. I think it's waybar. I'm not the biggest fan of how it looks, but I think it will match this wallpaper that I have. Firefox. Oh yeah, no, I don't have Firefox. We're using Florp today. Welcome to Florp. Does Florp have oh, it does have vertical tabs. Okay, I want to get my Wi-Fi working, so sudo pacman-s broadcom-wl. So the thing is, when I use another Linux kernel other than the default Linux kernel, my Broadcom Wi-Fi just doesn't seem to work. It just has these like bugs and stuff, so I'm using the default Linux kernel. To activate the Wi-Fi, do sudo modprobe-wl. Okay, now I'm gonna reboot real quick. Yo, wait, I rebooted, installed SwayBG, and turns out there is a wallpaper. This does look a bit similar like i3. Inside of this GitHub repository called Rosepine and then wallpapers, we're gonna be installing the wallpaper wallpaper that I usually use, because why not? Let's install the Snowpine Forest PNG /downloads/ and then snow. They already got like a prompt going on in the font, but I don't really like the font. I'm not the biggest fan of this font. I'm gonna be installing the Maple Mono font, nano.config kitty and then kitty.config. It uses daddy time mono. What the frick is the font name, bro? Maple Mono. This looks way better than the daddy font. What the frick? Sudo pacman-s fast fetch, because I want to see the ASCII art. Okay, the ASCII art is not bad. I actually really like the ASCII art. It looks pretty good. I have fast fetch right now. It looks good. The ASCII looks good. We're gonna put it to the ultimate test and see if the ASCII looks good with the aerofill/fetch program. Gen 2 Arch and NixOS look peak with this program. Look at how peak that is. It's actually available in the Arch Linux AUR. Just do yay-s fetch-git. Done installing. Let's do fetch. Nah, it doesn't look too good, bro. Yeah. But when it's on fast fetch, it does look pretty good. Yeah, it doesn't look too good. Now, I want to get transparency and blur working on Sway. Alright, buddy, so to add transparency, just add this line, _window app ID kitty, and then opacity here. You're going to want to run Sway MSG reload. It should reload, and now your terminal has transparency. Okay, now I want to add blur to the terminal because transparency alone isn't too LARP. You're going to have to install this thing. Sudo pacman-s swayfx. Wait, swayfx and sway are in conflict. Remove sway. Alrighty, we just installed it. To enable blur, I'm gonna go to nano config sway config. I think I'm just gonna add it like right here. #blur. A lot of you guys say that, oh, bro's using nano, not Envim. I'll install Neovim, okay? Just wait. Blur enable, and then blur _x-ray. Disable. Blur passes. Let's set the passes to like 2. And then, so I installed SwayFX, I logged out, logged back in, now my OBS can't record. Oh, okay, it works again. Dude, I can't seem to get blur working. What if I just add an underscore here? Maybe I'm just that stupid. Sway MSG reload. Okay, it works. What? That was it? An underscore? Okay, my gut is telling me to customize waybar and change the colors, disable rounding. Let's do that. I think this will be good. Yeah, I think this will be good. Dude, what? It's 3 p.m. already? Oh my goodness, I spent so many hours in this video. We're gonna play Minecraft. Sudo pacman-s prism launcher. Dude, I swear to God, the MacBook keyboard sucks. I hate it so much. Wait, why did it crash? What the hell? Oh, I think I know what it is. It's the display environment variable is missing. I did this command, grep-r xwayland and config sway, and then config xwayland disable. I think that's it. I think if I now comment this, let's go, it works. But damn, this MacBook is still pretty good. I don't think there's really anything more to review on this distro. It's just basically beginner-friendly Arch. KDE Plasma version would be very beginner-friendly. The Sway version, probably not. I'd recommend the KDE Plasma version if you're a beginner and you want to try it out. Anyways, let's move on to the next distro.
What's up, everyone? piar squared here. I'm hijacking this video. That joke will become very hilarious in just a minute. In this portion of the video, I'm going to be showing off Bedrock Linux. Bedrock Linux is a meta Linux distribution. If you don't know what a meta Linux distribution is, it's basically where a distribution provides you with the tools to build a distro, but it doesn't necessarily come pre-made with it. Very, very bad way of explaining it, but you could see Arch as a meta distribution, Gen 2 as a meta distribution. Linux from scratch is probably the poster child of meta distributions. So that's a little bit of what you're getting in with Bedrock Linux. Now, what makes Bedrock Linux special is that Bedrock Linux actually lets you combine multiple distros into what they call stratas, and then you kind of have one monolithic system that shares aspects of multiple other distros. For the base distribution, I'm going to be installing Debian. I used to pronounce it Debian actually, but I'm pretty sure it's Debian.
Debian.
So yeah, let's go ahead and download Debian. Debian AMD 6413. Let's go. All right, so here's Rufus here. I'm gonna go ahead and load my Debian ISO into Rufus. Everything looks good, so I'm gonna start it. Man, this is the kind of stuff that happens every time I use Rufus. I'm just gonna say yes. You know, download from the internet, man. Just do it. Yes, man. Sure, go ahead. Yes, man. Sure, go ahead. The USB is done, so I'm gonna go put this on my laptop now. Welcome to Debian. I skipped the installation for a couple of reasons. One, it's really boring. All you do is you just kind of hit next. Two, I skipped it because the HDMI output just did not work, so I couldn't have filmed it anyway. And three, this video or segment is not even focused on Debian. It's focused on Bedrock, so you don't really need to know what went on there. Anyway, we are in Debian, that's all that matters. I went ahead and registered my user as piar at Siberia, the Siberia being the host name, piar being my username. I'm gonna go ahead and sudo apt update before I do literally anything else. I am not in the sudoers file. Well, I'm gonna go put myself in the sudoers file real quick. So now when I run this command, I should be logged in as sudo. Yes, okay, I'm logged in as sudo now. That is good. So now, I think that's enough Debian for now. I think I'm gonna install Bedrock. Basically, we have to find out which of these correspond to my CPU architecture. So I'm gonna be this one at the top here. As you can see, we now have the shell script. I think ideally, I'm just gonna put it in a folder. Shell. That's like the worst folder name possible. All right, so when I run this, it should theoretically, whoops, I forgot something. We forgot to add the -- hijack tag. Okay, there we go. Now we have to type not reversible, guys. This is not reversible. All right, it's done. It says reboot to complete installation, and after reboot, consider trying the Bedrock Linux basics tutorial command, BRL tutorial basics. So let's go ahead and make a mental note of that down real quick. All right, here we are, guys. We are officially inside of Bedrock Linux, kind of. This is the installer for Bedrock Linux. I think it's just automatically kind of installing itself right now. I literally haven't touched anything. Well, I think that's a good sign that it booted at least. To the untrained eye, this might look like the same Debian install from earlier. However, if I go to a console here and I go ahead and run BRL version. Oh, what? A version? Oh, what? For those who don't know, BRL stands for Bedrock Linux. I'm sure you probably could have gathered that. I'm just putting that out there. So I'm going to go ahead and BRL tutorial basics. Welcome to the Bedrock Linux basics tutorial. This tutorial will introduce you to the minimum Bedrock Linux specific background required to utilize and manage a Bedrock system. Open another terminal with a Bourne-like shell alongside this one to follow along with the tutorial. Well, we have Bedrock and Debian. That's it. We haven't really installed anything alongside this. By the way, this is what my Bedrock Linux fast fetch looks like before I get too far into it. I forgot to do a Debian fast fetch, so that's my bad, but wow. So we can install Alpine Arch CentOS Debian, which is what I already have downloaded. Devuin. I heard some people ask me to try out Devuin. Fedora Gen 2, that could be interesting. Thinking for this video, for all intents and purposes, I should probably just use Arch. So now we have to get a couple more strata, which, like I mentioned in the intro, is the different operating systems you can actually install. So let's go ahead and fetch the tutorial Alpine. That looks questionable, so we now have that done. Now we need to do the tut void. All right, so now we're fetching void. Okay, so both are done. Cross-stratum commands. Many features from the strata we just acquired should work just as they would in their normal environments. Since we now have an Alpine stratum, we can run Alpine's APK package manager directly on the command line. That's neat. Ooh, it's the Alpine package manager help screen. I think this is really cool. I don't know. Maybe it could just be me. Ooh, and now we have the Void Linux package manager. That's also really, really cool. We can install Alpine's JQ and Void's JO. It's going to print Bedrock. Why is it cool that it prints just the word Bedrock? These commands are responsible for making JSON arrays, and we're basically splicing together the arrays. So we're using cross-stratum sort of connections here to print Bedrock to the terminal. It looks very mundane, but I promise you this is actually pretty impressive to me. On a Bedrock system, every file and every process is associated with some stratum. BRL, which, APK, Alpine, specifically the minimal tutorial variant, XVPS, install. Void, obviously. So both of these are associated with their respective stratum. BRL, which, LS. Debian. I'm assuming that's because Debian is the base. So it says that the stratum that provides the Bedrock etc Bedrock config file is global. Wait, that last command, output a global. Yes, it did. You read my mind. What's going on here? I wonder. If all paths were local, strata would be unable to interact with each other. Global. We can use the JO command from Alpine. So we can use the JO command from Void Linux and the JQ command from Alpine respectively. They're both cross-referencing the same material, basically. As a protective measure, stratum may not be removed while enabled. If you wish to remove a stratum, first disable it. So we can BRL disable tut Alpine. If you know that the target stratum is enabled, BRL remove takes a -D flag to disable prior to removing. So instead of having to disable it and then remove it, we can just throw in -D. Okay, so we have finished the tutorial for Bedrock Linux. So now we're kind of on our own now. It's very, very simple to just grab Arch and put it on a Bedrock Linux install, actually. All you do is you just do sudo BRL fetch Arch. That's literally all you have to do. And then it's going to go ahead and grab Arch and do whatever this is. Okay, so I just installed the Arch stratum. That took very, very long. So if you do plan on doing Bedrock Linux, the install size is going to be big for whatever distros you're using, and it will take a long time. But is it worth it? Well, We're about to find out. So if I run brl which pacman, this is obviously going to print arch because we have pacman now. Speaking of which, we can also do brl list, and that will give us every single strata that we have. So there's one command that I haven't really showcased yet with brl. It's the strat command. It's probably like, what does the strat command do? Well, it lets you run a command with the specific stratum's context. What do I mean by that? If I say strat arch pacman -syy, this is going to, I forgot to run it as root. That is my apologies. So if I go ahead and run this as root, you can see that it's going to use pacman to update the system. That's really, really cool. If you do brl status, by the way, you can see what all of your stratas are up to. So we can see that arch is enabled, bedrock is enabled, and Debian is enabled. Like I mentioned previously, you have to disable a strata to delete a strata, which you can also do by throwing in the -d argument into whatever you're uninstalling. Now, we all know that I installed fast fetch on this system earlier. This is through apt, but we'll do screen fetch, which technically is for like legacy operating systems, but it should still work. Now, if I run the strat arch and then we do screen fetch, it's going to run it in the context of it being arch. It doesn't matter if I run it in the arch strat, it's not going to print an arch logo. That's because Bedrock Linux technically controls that. So yeah, we're getting a Debian logo here, like I mentioned previously. So we have fast fetch installed through apt, so if I run fast fetch attempting to run it in the arch strat, it's not going to find it. But if I run the same command and I replace arch with Debian, now we can see that we have a fast fetch. So I hope that that gives you a general explanation of how that functions. Now you're probably wondering, how do you update? Bedrock Linux doesn't really have like a package manager for like updating strata. You have to use that package manager to update. So for this one, it'd be apt update. Now it's updating my entire system for Debian, and then if I wanted to update my pacman or also my arch system, we just do sudo pacman-syu. So yeah, both are updated, both are good. We can throw sudo pacman-syu after the ampersands, and that will chain it together. Isn't that just really, really awesome sauce? I think that's pretty awesome. I figured someone would want this, so here's an Arch Linux fast fetch. I don't know if they have a Bedrock Linux fast screen fetch. Does that count? I think a lot of people would probably be off-put or confused by the strat command. That's about it from Bedrock Linux. I'm going to download Calcei through pacman. Alrighty, so that's about it from Bedrock Linux. I hope you guys enjoyed this portion of the video. Yeah, final distro rating. I give Bedrock Linux an 8 out of 10. Well, I feel like it's very easy to install, very easy to learn. It does have a learning curve, but that doesn't mean that it's hard to, pick up and get into it. I found the tutorial really intuitive and very interesting, how you have to run the commands in the tutorial. That's really cool. One thing to keep in mind is that the distros are not going to be that light, but if you're a distro hopper, this is actually a fire distribution because you don't have to have a bunch of distros. You can just have one unified operating system and have all your distros inside of it. So that's really neat. Oh, that is looking rough. It's whatever. Anyway, that's it from me. Peace out.